We thank everybody for being here today, and many of you I know have talked to Bree, and she's on the call too, but I've not talked to most of you, so I'm really glad to have you here, and excited to show you what relay banking can do to make your life easier. And I say that not because I've got some special relationship with it, just I use it in our business. And I can tell you, just last week, being a profit first firm, we wanted to set up another account for something we were wanting to set aside funds for. And it was just simply push a button and name the account, and there it was. And then we just move money to it. And it's been the other banks. So I'm so appreciative how you make it easy for my business, and I'm hopeful that it'll be something that when you see how it works, it'll be really helpful in the way you envision banking in your business too. So I want to introduce you to Henry. Henry is with Relay, and he is going to talk us through some of the benefits of using Relay and then do a demo so you can see how it all works. And Henry, I'm going to turn it over to you, and
awesome.
Anything you need from me, I'm here.
Cool. Fantastic. Well, thanks so much for letting me take a few minutes to kind of give you an overview of Relay. As mentioned, Relay is a digital bank for small businesses. And basically, it was kind of built to help make life a little bit easier for small businesses. We've found that, typically banking can really be a force limiter, make things a lot more complicated, create a number of headaches, not to mention, maybe egregious fees for doing certain things that might make it easier to run your business. And so we wanted to change a lot of that. And so those are the things that I'm going to kind of be talking about today when I show you all of Relay's functionality. Now, the one thing that's important to mention is that we are a digital bank, and we're a relatively new digital bank. We've been around for 2 years, but we are partnered with an existing long-standing financial institution based in the United States. That institution has been around for nearly 100 years. They have over $500 million in assets under management. And it's through that partnership that all of the businesses that bank with Relay are automatically FDIC insured. So just want to make sure that, folks know that despite the fact that it's kind of a relatively new bank, which has nice modern technology, it is kind of backed by a trusted and long-standing financial institution here in the US. So now that that's out of the way, I think I'll just kind of give you the high level about the 4 things that we try to make easier, and then I'll start sharing my screen and show you the product. The first thing that's really important is that we've really embraced remote and the ability to run a digital business. So it's built so that you'll never have to go to a bank. You'll never have to go to a branch. You'll never have to, bring physical paperwork with you somewhere, or give somebody a call to make something specific happen. It's built so that you can run it all the way that you probably run your business today, which is, mostly online. We also make it very easy to collaborate, whether that's collaborate with your staff in your own banking, giving people access, giving people cards, giving them the right levels of permission, or sharing access with an accountant or a bookkeeper. We make those things ridiculously easy. We put you in control because we know that typically business banking can be something that's rather siloed, where there's maybe 1 or 2 key people that have the keys to the kingdom, but then as soon as you need a little bit of help with something that's happening in your banking, it can be a bit of a mess. And then the other kind of 2 areas that we focus on are financial visibility and fees. So visibility, we want to help businesses understand what's going on in their business with their finances, whether that be for businesses that want to run profit first, or for businesses that want to do some other cash management methodology, or maybe just have an extra bucket for tax withholding or a big expense that's coming up, right? Historically with banking, just getting a new checking account open, might mean a trip to the bank. It might mean a bunch of additional signatures that are needed. So on Relay, we make that, again, ridiculously simple. And all of it is no fees. There's no monthly fees. There's no minimum balances. There's no fee for opening an account. There's no fee for closing an account. And there's no overdraft fees. Just because ultimately we think it's hard enough to run a small business that, you don't need your financial institution raking you over the coals for, making mistakes here or there or needing another checking account. Hopefully that gives everybody a good kind of overview. I will share my screen now. All right. So I do in fact need Cindy to give me access to that.
Okay, so this is going to be interesting.
So in the participants tab, I think that maybe the easiest thing to do is to make me the host. Then I'll be able to do it, and then I can give you back host privileges after.
Okay, make a host. There you go. And while this is switching over, Henry, I had somebody write me a question in on Facebook.
Oh, cool.
That maybe you can touch on.
Sure.
They're a sole proprietor. They've not gone through the steps yet of creating an LLC. They're considering going down that road, but they haven't yet.
Yep.
Are there any types of entities that you don't work with? Because he was of the impression that sole props are not something that you all support.
Gotcha. So we actually do support sole proprietorships. It just may be that the user ended up trying to register without the specific books keep link.
Okay.
Because there's certain ways that folks can try to register where they might not be able to see all the different options, and it's effectively it's something that we support for our partners in our network, but because we need additional kind of compliance checks for that sort of type of entity in a that comes through a different network, we have to kind of change the UI. So they probably just didn't see the option, but it is available for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, Keith.
Cool. Awesome. All right. So I think that everybody can see a Relay screen here with a couple of different names on it, a couple of bulleted items here. So the first thing to kind of talk about is setting it up, getting started. You can open a Relay account online wherever you are. It takes about 10 minutes. I've seen people get up and running faster than that. Some people maybe it takes a little bit longer if they don't have all their documents on their computer, et cetera. But it's super, super quick. And it works for businesses that are in the US or even outside the US. So we're very friendly to founders in different countries that are running e-commerce businesses across the world and need US banking. That totally works as well. And it's really easy to get connected to your platforms like Amazon, Shopify, etc. And in that setup process of getting registered, you will never have to go anywhere in person, call someone. You can do the whole setup process from your computer wherever you are. It's really easy to do. Now, the other important thing to mention is that if you are an entrepreneur that has multiple legal entities, we make that management very easy as well. You can basically set up all your different legal entities on Relay for business banking. They all automatically get their own FDIC insurance. And then when you log in, you'll see kind of something like what I have here, which is just a portal where you'll see all your different legal entities and you'll be able to jump between them really, really easily. Awesome. I'm just going to make sure on the participants page, there's nobody else that's trying to get in here. Okay, we're looking good. Fantastic. So now that I've covered off that piece, I'm going to actually jump into Stacy's stationery here so you can see the bank in action. And I think the first piece that I want to cover is here in accounts, so we kind of have this set up with a profit first mentality in mind. You can see some of those accounts, profit, owner pay, things like that. In this case, you can open up to 20 checking accounts for your business. You can do it all from the interface. You just click add account, you give it a name, and then you're basically good to go, as Cindy kind of called out at the top of the call. And all of that is entirely no monthly fee, no fee for opening the account, and no minimum balances. So you can have an account at $0 for 6 months, 12 months, whatever it is. You won't have to worry about anything. So really good for Profit First or any other kind of methodology that you might be running. Excellent. Maybe another little sneak peek here is just for the Profit First stuff. If you are doing those recurring transfers, we do make it pretty easy to move that money around. You just pick an account that it's going from, you pick an amount, and then you say, hey, it's going to go to this other bucket. You click next, it's going to get you to just kind of confirm it, and then those funds will be transferred instantaneously. And everything that I'm showing on this screen is can be done from the mobile app as well. Cindy, did I miss anything there that seems pertinent, or can I go ahead and show off the cards functionality? Oh, you're on mute, Cindy.
Let's go back to the home page just a second.
Yeah, let's do it.
This may not, that's not where we were. The page with all the multiple entities.
Oh, sure, yes.
Where was that at?
Right here. It's just loading up.
So as an accountant for our clients, what we're able to do is to have different levels of permissions. As an accountant, I'm very concerned and have never allowed our team to be able to do those transfers for our clients in the past, because they always, the banks that we would interact with would require that they have the ability to move money, and that could mean that money got moved outside of our business. And I never wanted that liability, even though we do background checks and credit checks and all of that. It's still something I wouldn't take on. But one of the things I really like about Relay is that the permissions that exist give you, as a firm owner, the ability to give people authority to move money within your business. So for a client that's doing Profit First, and we go through and do the calculations, we could then also go through and move the money. It's just another thing we could take off of your plate, so that you don't have to worry about it getting done. And that's one of the things that really excites me about this, is that it does work so well with Profit First from a cost standpoint and ease, but it also will allow us to help our clients put that into place. Profit First only takes people about 20 minutes every time they go through to do it. It's what it takes me anyway. And so it's not huge, but if it's one thing that you can just count on being done, it allows you to focus on what's really important.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks, Cindy. So pop it back in here. I'm just going to click on the cards module. And so I want to walk through the functionality that we have around cards and managing expenses for your business a little bit. Today, Relay has debit cards. They're all MasterCard debit cards, and they're all protected with MasterCard's zero liability policy, which just means that you can effectively kind of spend with confidence. And if there's ever a concern around a fraudulent charge or anything like that, you simply dispute it on Relay, and then you'll get a provisional credit for the amount kind of applied to the account immediately while the dispute is taken care of. So I wanted to make sure to, kind of cover that at the top. And then I'm going to click this little plus here to kind of show the process of creating a card and why it kind of matters. It's really, really simple. And there's two different types of cards that you can issue. So you can issue a physical card, like the one I'm holding in my hand right now, which will show up in the mail. it's what you'd expect. But then we also have virtual cards. And so those are debit cards that just don't have a piece of plastic associated with them, but can be used for any online transactions over the phone, etc. And the beauty of those is that when you issue it, if I go next right now, it'll be active right away. So you don't need to wait for a card to come. And so that's great if you're giving staff access to cards, if you want to put all your software subscriptions on a specific card, for example. So we make it really, really easy. And then because they're all debit cards, you pick which account it's going to draw from. And so maybe in some instances, that's going to mean, hey, we're going to draw it all from, an OpEx account, or you have the flexibility to do something that maybe will give you a little bit better insight into what's going on in your business, like creating a card for marketing expenses, which debits from a marketing expenses checking account. And that way you can set up checking accounts that really have a purpose, right? So if I go back to my accounts here, great, I've got a marketing expenses bucket. Awesome, I zoomed in on that, fantastic. So now I can say, hey, let's get a bucket for this expense, put $2,000 in there. We'll give the team access to those cards. And what I know now is we're not going to go over budget. I can track that budget kind of decreasing in real time, see all the transactions that are taking place. And I've got a ton of control. And this is all just built into Relay. It's built into how we use the cards. It's just extra functionality that's there to kind of help with your visibility and manage spending across your team or just in the business as a whole. Cool. Now, one more quick thing to kind of show off. In this interface, you can do anything that you might want to do with these cards. So you never have to call anybody. You don't have to go to the bank for anything. So if I click edit on this card here, I can change the name of the card. Sure, fair enough. I can change the limits on the card. I can allow foreign transactions as well, or I can freeze the card. If I'm ever concerned, the card's gotten into the wrong hands, whatever it may be, or we just want to stop any spending on that card, we can freeze it. We could also terminate it right from the interface, and we can change the PIN code. So you've got a lot of control in the interface, just kind of at your fingertips, really. Awesome. That's everything I want to cover on the cards piece. And now I'm going to pop over to payments. So this payment section is all about sending money out of Relay. So really, really simple. Yeah, Cindy.
We've got a question in the chat, Henry.
Oh, awesome.
And I know the no fees section really relates to the accounts and the card. So the question is, there's no fees, no minimum balance. What's the catch?
This is my last in my little outline of things to cover. It's at the bottom. It's the question I always get. So what's the catch? So there is no catch. Anytime you use the debit card, just like your Capital One credit card, Chase card, whatever it is, Relay gets a percentage of all the volume of spend that goes through the cards. It's a very small percentage, and that's how Relay primarily makes money today. And that's at no cost to our clients. So it just comes out of the card, just like how you use any other card. And then the other way that Relay makes money is we have, I guess you could call them kind of pro or premium products that are built into the bank. Today, there's one of those products, which I'm going to show in a second here. And it is a bill pay automation solution that has approval workflows, has audit trails, has the ability to have multiple people on it. It automatically imports bills from Xero and QBO. So it's much like a bill.com, which you may have heard of, but way simpler and much more cost effective, because we believe that really small businesses need the help with their bill pay process, but they just don't need an enterprise solution for it. And they certainly don't need another third-party software for it. So it's just built into the bank so that when you're managing your banking in general, you can do this bill pay stuff. So that's the catch, is that we get volume, we get dollars off of all the transactions that go through the debit cards, which is at no cost, and then we also have kind of pro products. And today there's just one, which is that bill pay product, which I'll show as soon as I'm done showing the kind of out of the box payments functionality that comes with the bank. Awesome. Cool. It's a great question. So what I want to show off here first is just, normal payments functionality that comes with Relay that everybody gets to use. It's exactly what you'd expect. You can send money out in 4 different ways. ACH and check are totally free. Do those kind of to your heart's content. And then domestic wires and international wires, we have to charge for. We get charged this amount that we show you here. So we end up just charging it back. We want to make sure to be super transparent about that stuff. So that's why you see it here in the interface. Like before you click new payment, you'll know, hey, what are the options? How long are they going to take? And is there a cost? We don't want anybody getting any kind of nasty surprises after doing one of these payments. Awesome. And ACHs are really, really fast. So we just recommend, in general, that's the way to go. You get the money there the next business day if you send it before 6 p.m. Eastern. So it's a pretty good way to go. Cool. So I think what I can do now is I can talk to the kind of premium sort of bill pay product that's built into Relay. So the goal with that product was to provide an easy and affordable, controlled and automated bill pay solution for small businesses that is in the bank, so that you don't need to use third-party software. You don't need to use like an enterprise solution that's going to kind of break the bank, and that you can get a little bit better visibility on what's happening with your payments. So how does it work? Well, it's going to automatically pull in unpaid bills that show up in QBO or in Xero. And so maybe you're working with Bookskeep and they are putting in your unpaid bills into the accounting system, or maybe you're doing it yourself. And so Relay goes to the accounting system. It's going to find all those new unpaid bills and it's going to pull them into Relay. You can choose how you want to do it, if you want to pull in all of the new unpaid bills or if you just want to pull in a select few from specific vendors. So you have that optionality. And then once those get pulled in, you're going to set up really basic approval rules. Super, super simple. You just choose a dollar range and then you say, who has to sign off on this so that it can be paid? And any rule that you create like that basically just ensures, hey, anytime a new unpaid bill gets pulled into Relay, if it's in that dollar range, it's got to be approved by these people. Again, that's going to make sure that the right people are seeing the right bills, that you're getting the right eyes on it, and that you're not going to make, kind of costly mistakes with making these payments to vendors or whomever it may be. And then once we've got the automatic import going, which is going to refresh for you every 3 hours automatically on its own, we've got the approval rules set up. What we have now is we've got a nice little command center here called the action items. So you can see this on the computer, you can see it on your phone. And in that command center, you basically just get to know, okay, where are my bills? What's in progress? What unpaid bills need attention, etc. So you've got all this information kind of at your fingertips. You can take action on it, etc. So I'm going to click on that one so you can see what I'm talking about. So what can I see here? I can see all my unpaid bills on the left-hand side that still need some form of action. On each bill, I can see, okay, this is for our graphic designer. I can see the amount. I can see when it was due, who the approvers are, all that good stuff. And then it can be submitted for approval. Typically this could be something that Bookskeep is doing for you. It could be something that someone else on the team is doing to just look at this and say, hey, yep, this is ready to go, submit it for approval. And then once it is submitted for approval, those people that are listed as approvers on it will get an email notification that says, hey, there's a new bill in here for you to go in and check out. They can provide approval or reject it, whatever they might need to do. And then once it's gotten that approval, it's able to be paid. And so you'll always know that everything that falls into a certain range got rubber stamped by the right people. It's got the audit trail on there. It's going to make sure that your payments process has got the kind of checks and balances in it that it needs. And it's also really nice and smooth because it's built right into the bank. It's not going to go to some third-party solution. It's not going to use clearing accounts and make your whole situation more complex. It's all going to be right here and kind of self-contained within Relay. And so that product is something that we do charge for, like we said, sort of this pro product, and it's $25 a month flat, no matter how many bills you pay through it. So, you know, use it for 100 bills or 10 bills, it's going to be that same cost, no matter how many users are on it as well. Cindy, I saw you might have unmuted yourself. I thought you...
Yeah, I did. I mean, just two things I like about this. One is from an accounting perspective, we have a lot of clients using Bill.com, and the process through Bill.com takes you into this whole thing of clearing accounts. And I mean, Bill.com has been around for a while, but I will tell you that it really creates complication in the accounting system. And I love how this works, in that it just integrates, and you don't have, I mean, you know, you're going to pay digital strategy out of whatever account. It shows up in that expense account. It comes out of your bank account. It's the way things ought to appear from an accounting perspective. So I really like that. That whole clearing account thing is just a place where things go to not get matched up properly, to create a headache and more cost to have your accountant try to sort out what happened and what went wrong. The other piece of it is, you know, the Bill.com solution is $30 plus fees for each check you write, plus fees for each user that you have. So very quickly you move into a higher cost product that I don't think works as well. And it also, you have no ability to understand what those costs are going to be as you start to grow and you start writing more checks or more transfers or whatever. So I like the fact that you guys have made this very simple, connected directly into the accounting system, and you can count on what the cost is going to be. And I see we've got a question in the chat. Let's see. Can bills to be paid be input directly into Relay, or do they have to be imported from QuickBooks or Xero?
Yeah, also a great question. Today, they have to be imported automatically from one of those accounting systems. Decision that you know, the kind of product team made, thinking that most of that work was in a lot of cases already happening there. But it's possible that in the future we'll change that, because it is something we've gotten asked about before. But for now, it's just from QB and or Xero. Cool. And then the other last kind of things to call out on this that are nice little features is that I think it's been released this week or next week, is the ability to request someone's payment details. So you could send, you know, an ACH transfer, for example, to someone you need to pay, but have them put in the details for you. So you can kind of say, yep, this is approved, let's initiate this payment, and then it'll ping them and say, hey, you know, Henry's trying to pay you, please put in your info. It's all nice and secure, and just takes the onus off of your business to kind of maintain that information, go get it, etc., and avoid some mistakes too, which is nice, and maybe get people to accept something other than a check. Cool. So that's the payments piece. Last couple things. We're almost at the finish line. You know, obviously really thankful that everyone's stuck around and is kind of listening to all this good stuff. We make it really easy to collaborate securely. So you can give access to anybody on your team or a bookkeeper or something like that without giving, you know, someone like your login credentials or having to share access or anything like that. It's really easy. There's a team, you know, section. There's an advisors section. So advisors is where you'd pull in an accountant or a bookkeeper. The team page is where you'll add staff. And basically it's as simple as clicking add new team member, punching in an email, and then just deciding on a permission level. There's a whole bunch of these. Their kind of capabilities are described on the website, in a support, document. And we've got a whole bunch of them, including, for example, deposit only. And so what that would allow you to do is give a staff member the ability to deposit checks on their phone, but do nothing else. So really nice if, you want to kind of outsource that to somebody else on the team, or even maybe, there's an old iPad lying around the office, or an old Windows tablet, or whatever it is, to put a specific user profile on there that can deposit checks but do nothing else, and then the team can do it for you, etc. Cool. All right. So I think that's everything from a demo perspective that I wanted to cover. We have super robust two-factor authentication. So this is as a replacement to text messages, and you can set it up, and then what it'll do is you'll use one of these other authenticator apps, and those apps just refresh a code every few seconds or something like that, and then you just put the code in when you're signing up. It's more secure than text messages. Text messages are actually pretty vulnerable, and yet most banks use them. So we use something a little bit different. Fantastic. So the last things I wanted to talk about are just like what kind of documents you need to get set up. I'll show the specific link for folks to use. I can post it in the chat if anybody wants to kind of test out Relay. But before that, I see there's maybe a couple questions.
Yes, a couple questions.
Okay, so I assume the feeds between QB0 and Relay are very robust. My biggest headache with current bank. Yes, they're super duper robust. So our bank feeds are awesome. And the reason they're awesome is because we built them to go to those tools. So we built a data pipeline into QBO and into Zero, whereas most banks are using some sort of other third-party scraping tool, which is pushing that data in, which breaks all the time and is totally unreliable, and quite frankly is, I'm sure, going to disappear over the next several years. So our system's better, and then you can refresh it yourself. It refreshes itself every 3 hours, so you have the data you need in the system when you need it. And then another question here, is there an option to export transactions from an account into a CSV or Excel? There is indeed. It's really easy. You click the account, you click statements. The transaction data will be available as far back as the account was opened, which is really nice. And then we also do something crazy, which is that we do the month start date is the first of the month and the month end date is the last of the month, which I know that other banks, sometimes have you on a totally different cycle, which kind of ruins the exports on that data. So we make that way cleaner and way easier. So yeah, you can export that data really, really easily as well. Cool. I think that's those questions. As far as documentation is concerned for the registration process, it's pretty straightforward. It's going to be articles of incorporation, an EIN verification letter, and then you're going to do KYC, so know your customer on yourself, which is just going to be like a government ID, a driver's license for the most part if you're in the US, or if you're international, it's going to be a passport. And then there's a couple of other things, but those are really the big pieces. Like I said, should take 10 minutes if you've got everything set up, and then your account will be up and running live. You can start to use it for transactions. And then as soon as you actually register the account, a debit card does get mailed to your business address on file, a physical one, but you can create virtual ones immediately and start to use those instead if you need, if you're trying to get up and running really quickly. Cool. That's everything that I wanted to cover. I'll obviously be sure to post the specific registration link in the chat, and then happy to take any other questions, basically.
Like Keith has another one. Who's the partnership with the other bank? Is that who you're asking about, Keith? Mm-hmm.
Cool. Yeah, so the bank is called Evolve Bank and Trust.
They're out of Tennessee, if I remember right.
Yeah, they're based out of Tennessee. Yeah, based out of Tennessee, established in 1925. So they've been around for a little while.
Can you tell us, Henry, some of the future things that we can look forward to?
Yeah, for sure. So we're doing more work on the bill pay product to add in new things. There's scheduled and recurring payments are coming soon. We're going to create different levels of not sophistication, but give you a little bit more power on the approval rules in case you want to do things that are a little bit more demanding than just, in this range, who's the approver. So you'll be able to have just more kind of complex logic in there. It's something that some folks have asked for, sort of around that bill pay stuff. And then, I think we're looking at other things to help automate financial management, and that might be things around document capture, giving you somewhere to put receipts when you're, maybe with the mobile app and things like that. And then potentially also on the AR side of things. So obviously we've got like a pretty robust AP solution right now, but I think that we'll start to look at AR stuff next year.
Okay, awesome. We've got another question here from Shanetta. Do you offer the ability to get physical printed checks too?
Yes, that's a really good question. Today, the only way to pay someone by check using Relay is to go here, click new payment, and send a check. And that check gets mailed out on your behalf. But for the time being, you can't print your own checks. You cannot, use a third-party service to print a check, or and we're unable to today send you a checkbook. I think we're going to expand our abilities there, but for the time being, if you need to make a check payment, it's going to be through this thing that I'm showing on the screen right now.
Okay. So this is kind of at the end. Are there any other questions before we wrap up? Because this is your chance to hear it from Henry.
I think hopefully that's still updating. I just went to our Relay site. Can you see it, Cindy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. So I'm gonna post the link in Zoom, and effectively, if you do want to test out Relay, the easiest thing to do is going to be use that link, click get started. You'll punch in your stuff here, and then as soon as you hit submit, it's going to take you into the registration flow, and it'll be pretty quick. Some folks like to get all their documentation set up ahead of time. Get the stuff lined up so it's an easy process. So what I'll do is I'll also share this so that you have a sense of the documentation that you'll need to get the account open.
And I will say, I opened my account sometime early this year, or maybe the end of last year. I can't remember. And I'll be honest, mine did not go as smoothly. So sometimes it's not going to be 10 minutes. But Relay was great to show me how to do there was just one more step I had to take to do a verification cycle with my bank. So if it runs into a snag, they are super great to work with to just help you go that next step where you have to send like a 2-cent transaction to verify your other bank, and then everything pulled over. So if you do get stuck, I know for me, when I did get stuck, I was like, oh, it's not going to be easy. It was super easy when I made time to get it figured out. So if you do get stuck, be sure and let them know, and they'll walk you through that extra little step that you might have to make. We've gotten a couple more questions here, Henry. Jill is asking the fee for transferring to external business accounts.
Yeah, so if you're just sending an ACH to an external business account, there's no fee. The only fees you'd have for transfers would be if you're sending a wire. And then
yeah, and I'll just add on to that too. When I started using Relay, I had my traditional bank account, and I just added Relay to it. I added just an operating account that I could use to make things easy with my team, and to move things over. And as I've gotten used to using it, it's like, oh, well, we'll just open that account there too, because it's so easy. So if you want to test it out to see how it'll work for you, you can just open the one account, move move whatever operating money over you want into that account, get a feel for it and see, if it works for you like you'd like it to. And like Henry said, there's no fee for doing those kinds of transfers, either in or out. So that's good. And Ron had a question about any plans for actual credit cards. We use a credit card for points, not a showstopper, just curious.
Yeah, definitely plans. 100%. We know people, I love points personally, so I can only imagine running your own business that you'd want to get those. So it's definitely a part of the plan. Some folks today on Relay, some folks don't use the cards and they use Relay for the other functionality, being able to have multiple checking accounts, etc., while still using a card that they like. And then some folks will have their credit card for points for X, but then they'll use the cards to give employees access to spend and specific categories and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, it's absolutely something that we're going to do. Just a matter of time, really.
All right. Any other questions? Reba, I see you just got here, and we've got this recorded, and Henry, I assume it's okay to send this out to folks. So.
You can use my image for whatever it's worth. I think not much.
So yeah, we'll be sending it out so you can catch up from the beginning. And Henry, were you going to put
let me
put the links in the chat real quick?
I'll absolutely do that. Yes. So this should go to everyone. So link to register. Boom. And then I will put this link in there as well, which has the documentation. To documentation.
And just, to say what I said at the beginning, this is a referral code. It's associated with us, really to just validate that you're a real person and you're not a bad actor. It's not any kind of affiliate code. I'm excited to introduce Relay because of what it does for our clients and what it's done for us as a business. So, I do know I've had people through Facebook groups say they've tried to go just to Relay to get in and to start an account, and they're not able to do that. So if for some reason you have any trouble and need this code again, reach out to me, because that allows you to be kind of verified as being a legitimate person. So that's the reason you want to use a referral code.
Yeah, for sure. And I just put my email in the chat. So, feel free to reach out if you have any question or you run into anything. We've got a fully staffed support team, and like Cindy said, they're pretty awesome. And you can also call us Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 Eastern. And you'll get the phone number from inside the Relay kind of portal. But as you guys are just getting up and running, obviously, since I was here and I got to see some of your faces, I'm more than happy to field some questions and help get you set up. Send the referral code to others, friends and family. Is it only for BooksKeep clients? Yeah, so there's a question here. Can we send the referral code to others? I want to make sure that they have the best experience possible. So let me think of that, because it'll work. But we do obviously keep track of like who's coming directly from BooksKeep. So maybe I can give you a separate code that'll be more of like an SMB kind of referral code. And maybe I'll follow up with Cindy afterwards and see. But the code will work. And I'll see about getting a separate code for those, just in case you wanted to share it with someone. And then we can kind of take it from there.
All right. Well, thank you all for spending some time with us this afternoon. Appreciate you all being here. And if you have any questions about, BooksKeep relationship, about working with Relay Bank, if you decide to do this and you want some help getting it connected or whatever, we're certainly happy to do that. So thank you all.